Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid, and behind me is a 2011 Hyundai Sonata, and I'm going to show you how to change the oil on it. So here are the tools you need. You obviously need an oil drain pan. You need some paper towels because you're definitely going to spill oil. You need a new oil filter. You need new oil. You need a 17mm wrench on this car to remove the oil drain plug. You need some jack stands to hold the car up once you jack it up, and you're going to use this to jack it up. Every car comes with a jack if you need to change a spare tire on the side of the road. Let's get started. As you can see, there's a piece of the metal frame of the car. This is where it's pinched together. This is where you jack the car up, and it's also where you're going to put the jack stand to support it. This is actually the place where they normally want you to jack it up when you're changing a spare tire. This is normally where you would put the jack because all you have is a jack on the side of the road. But anywhere along this frame is strong enough to support the car being jacked up, so it really doesn't matter. But since we're going to use that spot for jacking up the car, this is where we would use the jack to actually jack up the car. Now, I'm not actually going to use this jack to jack up the car on this video because it's going to take forever. And I'm going to use my regular jack to do this. But I just wanted you to see where you would do it if you didn't have a regular jack. This is where I'm going to put my floor jack to jack the vehicle up. That's the frame of the car. It's actually not the frame, it's just, I guess it's the suspension carrier, let's call that. But you need to locate a metal part of the car that's reinforced enough to be able to support the weight of the car. Do not jack up on the frame components, such as you see right here. Never jack up that, because you're just going to be pushing that up. You're going to be pushing the wheel up, not the car itself. So, very important. I'm going to let the jack down really slowly. And basically you want to let it touch the jacks and make sure the jacks are still positioned in the right place, because believe it or not, the car can move quite a bit. And I noticed that the one on this side kind of wasn't exactly correct once the car had moved down a little bit. So now, there and there, and we're good. It's also a good idea, you should just leave, if you have a floor jack, leave the jack up under the point where it was jacked up. You can kind of set it off to the side so you have room to get underneath. This is just a safety thing, just in case one of your jacks fails. You have a third safety option in place. So it's always a good idea to do that. Alright, so I've already popped the hood, and I'm going to reach under and press on the latch so I can release it. This hood's nice, it's got struts, so it goes up automatically. The reason I'm doing this is I'm going to open up the oil, I'm going to take off the oil cap so that air has a way to get into the engine when I unscrew the drain plug. This is, like I said, this is a 2011, and it's got a lot of these plastic panels underneath it. We call these idiot panels. Not all cars have this, especially older cars. Basically, they've kind of made things easier on us. Right here, there's a hole, and that's where the oil filter is, which is really great. Sometimes you're going to see oil filters in just ridiculous places, and they're going to be hard to get at, but they'll usually be white or orange if it's like a Fram filter, and they should be pretty easy to see. This hole over here is the oil drain plug, and I'm going to use the 17mm wrench to loosen it. And remember to wear gloves while you're doing this, by the way, because you don't want to get oil on your skin, especially warm oil. By the way, it is a good idea to start your car for a couple of minutes if it's cold. Just, hot oil flows a little bit faster, a little bit better than cold oil does. But be careful if you've just driven your car, because that oil is going to be really, really hot. So be careful once you get the oil plug off. Get it up out of the way, because you don't want to get burned. And I've done this quite a few times, so I've kind of got some practice at not spilling anything on the ground, but you're inevitably going to end up spilling something on the ground. So make sure you have a paper towel handy when you do this, and that way you can actually just clean off the drain plug once you get it off. So I just set that there, and even though I'm wearing gloves, I wipe off my gloves because I'm still going to use them. It's a good idea to put a new crush washer on your oil drain pan or drain plug. before you put it back on. You saw that the oil was down to just a couple of drips, and that's, you know, that's it. We got all the oil out pretty much. You can wait as long as you want, actually, but that's good enough. And we're just going to tighten the drain plug down till it's snug. You don't want to over crank it because most oil pans are aluminum these days, and aluminum strips really easily. So just be careful. Don't go crazy on this. Just get it tight. The reason I'm putting the drain plug on now is because I'm going to move the drain pan over to the oil filter and remove that. And if I hadn't done that, my oil filter would my oil would continue to drain onto the ground. Whoever put this on was an idiot, because you're only supposed to put these on hand tight, which means you should be able to get them off with your hands, but I actually can't. So I'm actually going to use another tool here. This is an oil filter wrench that I've had forever. And this usually works. It doesn't work in every situation, but I believe it will work in this situation. You see it opens up to the larger diameters of the filters. So I'm going to put it on my smallest one and just come in here and grab it. Grab the oil filter, and there. Basically, just needed to get it loose. So, damn that guy whoever did that. And as you can see, this is really messy. This is why I'm wearing the gloves. No way to avoid this, really. And let it drain into your oil pan. Now we're going to put the new oil filter on, and I like to take a little bit of the old oil here. It can be the old oil. It really doesn't matter. You're just going to put it on the O-ring, basically. This helps it make a seal. And I'm just going to kind of wipe off the little idiot panel just to be nice, you know. And just start it back on. You'll notice, I don't know if you did notice this, but this oil filter is a Fram, and it's got the Sure Grip. This is just like a textured surface on here. This makes getting it off so much easier. So for me, that's kind of worth it, you know, when you're, it's kind of worth the extra $1, I think, that they charge you. And just kind of there, like hand tight. That's it. That's all you need to do. Now it's time to add oil back in, and one thing you're going to need is a funnel. I forgot to include that earlier in the video. I'm sorry. And this car actually takes synthetic oil, and if you look on the cap, it'll tell you it takes 5-weight 20, and you'll notice this is 5-weight 30 I'm adding. I read the owner's manual, and it does say you can add 5-weight 20 or 5-weight 30, so that's okay. The reason that I have 5-weight 30 is because they were out of 5-weight 20 at the store. You can't just put any oil in a vehicle that you think, okay, especially with newer vehicles. They are designed to have the oil that the manufacturer tells you in the owner's manual to use. You can't just go ahead and use 10-weight 40 on here just because you've always used 10-weight 40 on all your vehicles. Things change. Things have changed when it comes to oil. So this vehicle takes 4.8 quarts. This is 5 quarts here. And you know what? Make sure that you actually look at that on the side of the jug, by the way. You'll notice that it might look like this is a gallon of oil, but it's not. It's actually 1.25 gallons because it's 5 quarts. There's a difference. Some manufacturers try to trick you there, and they'll sell you 1 gallon of oil, and that's not 5 quarts. That's less. I'm going to add most of the oil because we know we need 4.8. That's almost 5. And it is important not to add too much oil. If you add too much oil, that can cause just as much damage as not adding enough, by the way. So I'll kind of stop at this point and tip it up level. And here it shows me the one quart, 2 quarts, 3 quarts, 4, and then the fifth was up there. So I can see that maybe I'm at, a little more than half a quart, so I got to keep going. And I would say that that's, a quarter of a quart, 25%. So we're around the level that we need to be. I'll stop at this point. I'm going to check the oil and just see where the level is. And I'm going to take it out. I'm going to wipe it off and put it back in and pull it out again and check it. And you know, I'm only doing this just to make sure I'm somewhat between the two marks that I should be. What I'm gonna do next is actually start the vehicle and get that oil circulating in there and you know, fill up the oil filter, and then I'm gonna check it again. The reason I checked it before was I just wanted to make sure I had enough in there before I even started the car. I just ran the engine, I turned it off, and I let the oil just drain back down into the pan for a couple seconds, about 15 seconds. And now I'm going to come and check the level of the oil again. Again, wipe off the dipstick, put it back in, and pull it out and check it. Actually, we might be a little low. And you know what? I just thought of something. One reason it might be reading low is the fact that I haven't lowered the engine. I haven't lowered the car back down onto the ground yet, and so the engine's kind of up at an angle. So I think I'm going to lower the vehicle now and then check the oil, because that's definitely going to change things, especially because the oil dipstick is in the front of the vehicle. So it's kind of sticking into the oil pan in the front right there, and all the oil's kind of down in the back. So let's put the car back down on the ground. Okay, now that we're down on the ground, I'm going to check it again. And now we're good. You can see the oil's halfway between the F and L marks, full and low, and that's where it needs to be. As long as it's somewhere between those two marks, you're good. That's it. So what do you do with your old oil? You could take your drain pan in like this if you want to, but this is kind of messy. And you know, if you bought your oil in one of these big convenient 5-quart jugs, well, use this to take your old oil back in. And if you didn't use all of the oil that this came with, you know, if you want to save it, you could do that. If you don't have a jug, you know, what I would suggest is you can get like even you can get like a water bottle and just kind of rinse it out with some nail polish remover or something. Just make sure there's no water in it, you know. And you can just add whatever leftover oil you have to that and put a label on it so you know what grade it is. You know, write the 5-weight 20 or 5-weight 30, whatever you used, and you can keep it for next time. You can take your old used oil to any auto parts store. Almost all of them will accept used oil. Do not throw your oil in the garbage. That's really bad for the environment. You need to recycle it. So be a good person. Recycle your oil.